You do not need to forgive your parents in order to move on. You don't need their forgiveness. You don't need their apology. You don't need their acknowledgement, and you do not need their validation to move on and live the life that you now deserve to live. If things happen in your childhood, especially where you face a lot of financial lack, that is not your fault, and that was never your problem. That was never your burden to bear or to carry. That is your parents' fault, and it is also your parents' failure, and it's something that they have to live with. And if you are someone who has been failed by your parents, they have made promises to you and they have broken them. They have said they would do things for you and show up for you, and they never did. I want you to know now that that is not your fault. Your anger is valid. And if you're not able to forgive them right now, if you're not at a place to where you can forgive them, if you're not at a place to where you have made peace with your past, that is okay. It is not necessary to start taking steps to move forward. Me personally, there are some things that I will never be able to forgive my parents for. And I have accepted that. And you have to accept that too. And even if you still want a relationship with them, everybody's situation is different. Not everybody has a situation with their parents where they were super, super abusive or aggressive. Not everybody's situation with their parents is the same. So it may not require you cutting them off completely and never speaking to them again. It may not require you moving across the country and changing your phone number. That may not be the extent of your situation. However, if you are in a place where you are trying to force yourself to forgive, you're trying to force yourself to move on, you're trying to force yourself to have some type of relationship with them, you're trying to force yourself to show up and be around them on holidays, but let one thing happen, let one thing trigger you, and you're right back to that place. You're right back to being that sad, lonely, angry little girl. Then guess what? You are forcing forgiveness, and you do not have to forgive your parents in order to move forward. Hi everyone, my name is Sharina, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing me today, welcome. I hope you take something away with you that is valuable and contributes to your success. Now let's get into it. You don't have to forgive your parents in order to move forward, because their failures, that's their stories. The ways they didn't show up for you as a parent, the things that they were supposed to give you and did it, the things that you lacked in your childhood, that was not on you, and that is not your responsibility. That is your parents' story. That is not your story. Your story starts now. Your story started once you became a legal adult. Your story started once you started working for yourself and trying to provide for yourself. As long as you're trying, then your story is starting off on a good foot. It may not have started off like everybody else's, but that doesn't mean that you're going to end up like that. You get to decide how your story ends. You get to decide the destination that you're going in. It is up to you now. That is one of the beautiful things about being an adult. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, now that I'm an adult, I'm completely responsible for myself, and it's so scary or it's so stressful. But it is also very freeing, because the life that you live is completely up to you. All of your successes and all of your wins are your own. And you deserve to be proud of that. And you deserve to be proud of yourself. It is also important to remember, now that you're an adult, nobody owes you anything. If you are upset that your parents aren't coming through for you in a certain way, or maybe you even feel like they've done stuff for other people, but they haven't done stuff for you. Maybe you feel like you have siblings and you feel like they've shown up for your siblings in a certain way that they have never shown up for you. Let me tell you something. You deserve to have someone show up for you. However, it does not have to be external. It can be internal, and it should be internal. I've said this before. You should be showing up for yourself to the best of your ability every single day. That is going to make the biggest difference in your life. Effort will take you a long way, because if you are taking a step every single day to that destination, eventually you will get there. You will get there. And it's important to remember that this is your life. So now you have to think, okay, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want my life to look like? Everybody's version of wealth is not the same. What other people feels like is a wealthy and prosperous life, and a life that is full of abundance, looks very different. So and this also will require you taking a break off of social media. Close social media. Okay, because you're going to be seeing other people's idea of happiness and wealth and abundance and feel like maybe that's something you should be reaching or working towards, without even realizing that's not what you want. You have to figure out what you truly want. What career do you want? What type of education you want? Where do you want to live? You don't have to stay in the city that you grew up in. You have the power. You can move to a new state. You can move to a new country if you really, really want to. But you need to think about that. What do you want to do with your life? And when you're deciding what type of career you want to have or if you want to go to school, it's also very important to think about the things that you're already good at. Me personally, I'm someone who's very good at writing, reading, and public speaking. You can put me in a crowd. I can speak in front of thousands of people. I might be a little bit nervous, but it's not a fear of mine. I have no problem speaking in front of people. That's a strength of mine. So now I'm deep diving into a career that aligns with those things. I'm going to be an author. Correction, I'm an author, editor, and I have engaged in public speaking. I'm going to continue to engage in public speaking. So I have aligned myself in a career that caters to me. A lot of times we try to put ourselves in certain boxes where we don't belong. You're saying, oh, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to go to medical school. You actually hate the sight of blood. Like, your friend was drunk and she threw up, and then you almost threw up because you saw somebody throw up. If stuff like that bothers you, you don't need to be in the medical field in general. And that's okay. And let's be very clear. Every successful career does not have to be STEM focused or STEM related. Me personally, I go to a university that is STEM focused. However, we do have a very strong humanities department, and I'm grateful for that because it's shown me that I can also be very successful in the career that I have. I can also be very successful, as someone who is getting a Bachelor of Arts. So figure out what you want to do. Find a career that aligns with things that you're already good at. Also, think about things that you like to do as a child, things that you did with ease. If you're someone who's always been very social as a child, you always meet friends very easily, you always connected very easily with people, look into career fields like that. Look into career fields where you're talking to people, where you're building connections with them, where you're helping with people. You may very much so prosper in jobs related to customer service. If you're someone who as a child, you always like to organize things, you like to put things away. Maybe when it came to cleaning out of your siblings, you were the best person. Look into jobs like that. There are plenty of jobs where you don't actually have to talk to people. They need people who work in, records. They need people who do data entry. Like, they need people for so many different career fields. So don't try to make yourself fit into a box that you don't belong in. It's very important to start planning and think about the type of life that you want to live, because your parents are not required to pay your bills anymore. They're not required to show up for you. They're not required to take you anywhere. They're not required to pick you up. They're not required to pay that tuition. It's on you now. So you need to figure out what exactly you want to do and think about why. You need to be very intentional about what you're doing. You need to make sure that everything you're doing has a purpose. Even me sitting here recording this video and posting this content online, I'm doing that with intention. I'm doing that with a purpose. I'm doing it because I actually believe in the message that I'm saying. And I'm also doing it because I live it in real life. I'm not just saying something and I can't back it up with action. I am someone who has turned my life around. I am someone who has moved states. I am someone who has put in the work. I am someone who is getting a college education. I'm someone who is proud of what I have accomplished, but I know that I can accomplish more. So you really have to do what you believe in. You have to believe in yourself, and it has to make sense. Don't just be doing stuff to do it. Don't do stuff that doesn't have a purpose. Don't do stuff that doesn't make sense. Don't do stuff just because you see other people doing it. Don't try to work a certain job just because you know that it's gonna make money. If you're getting a job just to help provide for yourself and pay for your life right now, that's completely understandable. But it's like I said, come up with a plan. What does it look like? Are you still going to be at that job in the next 6 months, in the next year? What do you want your life to look like? Because that's how you become successful, thinking ahead. All of the people right now, people who are financially secure, it's because they're thinking ahead. They're planning ahead. So calm down and think about you. It's your time now. This is about you. So figure out what exactly it is you want to do and how you're going to do it, how you're going to get to that next step and that next destination. Something that is very important with planning, and this is something I've had to learn as well, budgeting. A lot of people, and everybody's situation is different, but some people, I personally know people like this who are living paycheck to paycheck. You're living paycheck to paycheck because you're not budgeting. You're door dashing $30. DoorDash is like $30, $40 every time you DoorDash. You're door dashing 2-3 times out the week. That's $100+ that you could have put towards groceries and you could have been cooking every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to budget. You need to look at how much are you getting paid? How much are your monthly expenses? And then also, if you have this, you also need to look at your debt. And you need to look at how much debt you've paid off, if you paid off any. If you haven't paid off any debt, you need to be looking into how your debt is impacting your credit score, how that's impacting you, period. Because if you have debt, that also impacts you if you want to buy a house and get a mortgage. That impacts you if you want to get a credit card. That impacts you if you're trying to get a car. That impacts your insurance. Like, having debt impacts you. Money impacts every single aspect of our life. So you really need to sit down, look at what you have to work with, and then also think about what you want to have in the future and take those steps to figure out how to get there. But you should know your finances. A lot of people, and if you grew up in situations like me where there was just a lot of financial lack, or even people just didn't talk about money. I have noticed, this is something I've just felt growing up, Black people don't talk about money. We don't. Black people really don't like to talk about money. We, as kids, it's not really something that's normal conversation. And anytime an adult is talking about money, that's, oh, you need to stay in a child's place. That's not your business. And then we turn 18 and we don't even know what the hell a credit card is. Or you turn 18 and you get a credit card and now you messed up your credit. But your parents, they did the same thing. You know, they turned 18, they messed up their credit, and then they had to dig themselves out of a hole. So you really, really need to have conversations with yourself and with other people that you trust about money. And look on YouTube the same way we look on YouTube for every single thing else. I've looked on YouTube how to build things, how to do this, how to do that. You can look on YouTube how to properly use a credit card, how to budget, how to save, how to invest. If you're there, how to invest. So do your research, but you really should know what you actually have in your pocket. Some of you have more money than you realize, but some of you are also not as good as in a financial space as you think that you are, because you're not factoring in your debt into that. Look into money. Get comfortable with money. Get comfortable with the thought of having money, of making more money. Get comfortable with the idea of money, because money makes the world go round. You need money for every single thing. Every time you need a good and every time you need a service, you're giving money. You literally need money to survive. So you need to get comfortable with money. If you're scared of money, I don't know if y'all heard this before, scared money don't make money. You know, you're scared of it. No. And you need to figure out why. So get comfortable with money. Get comfortable with making money. Get comfortable with the idea and thought of having money and having more money than you currently have now. It is also important to remember, when you're going on this path, when you're going on this journey of learning from your mistakes, learning from your past, also accepting your past, accepting the things that you cannot change, and accepting yourself. When you're going on this journey of self-love, because it's a journey, we are constantly changing and evolving throughout our life. So there are going to be different versions of yourself that you grow to love, and different versions of yourself that you also learn how to forgive as you get older. But it's important to remember that you are not a victim. You are not a child. Nobody owes you anything, and nobody is coming to save you. It is time for you to show up for yourself now. It is time for you to take care of yourself. If you don't like your situation, you have the power to change it. You are capable. Even if it doesn't always feel that way, I promise you, I'm speaking from firsthand experience. I have changed my life in so many ways. I've moved cities. I've moved states. I'm telling you, you have the power to change your life. It is in your hands now. But you're not some sorry victim. Nobody is doing anything to you. I used to have a very bad victim mindset where it felt like bad things were always happening to me. And it really felt like, oh my God, everybody is living this great life. And I can't even be happy and live this great life because bad stuff is always happening to me. Something is always happening to me. If that is how you are thinking, that is your problem. And that mindset, that limited belief in thinking is holding you back. Because whatever you believe is your reality. Whatever you believe is your truth. So if you truly believe that bad things are always happening to you, anytime a bad thing happens, all it's going to do is affirm that negative belief and that lack in you. You have to get out of that victim mindset. You are in control of your life. There are certain things we can't control externally. Say you apply for a job and you get a rejection letter. You can't control that job didn't hire you, but you can say, okay, I didn't get hired by that place. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to expand my search. I'm going to keep researching. I'm going to keep doing what I can do so that I can figure out a way to take care of myself and provide for myself and move forward in my career. And that's honorable. That's commendable. That's something that I can respect. But you're sitting there always complaining, always crying, always in a negative energy. It's like you're just some sad, you're just a sad person. Don't nobody want to be around a sad person. They don't. They don't. And it's not as if you're not able to feel your feelings and feel your emotions. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's who you are at your core. You're just sad. You're just sorry. And you don't see anything wrong with that. There's no way you're comfortable in that. You can't just be sitting there comfortable in it. Feeling sorry for yourself, feeling sorry about the life that you live. There is no way that you are okay with that. I'm not okay with it. I wasn't okay with it. I got up and I moved. And that's what you have to do. Get up and move. Get up and move. Do something about your life. Do something for yourself. I've said it before. You do deserve to have somebody show up for you. But that person should be you. If you look around and you don't see anybody encouraging you, applauding for you, affirming good things in you, guess what? Get in the mirror and do it for yourself. Show up for yourself. Be there for you. Take care of you. Love you. You can do it. You got this. On that note, we're going to go ahead and end this video. I will see y'all next Saturday at 7 p.m. Bye.